just as you rejoined us, we get the green flag and resume racing. And once again, Rusty Wallace gets a great jump on the field and pulls ahead of everyone. Second place now is Davey Allison. Kyle Petty is third. Mark Martin fourth, and Earnhardt is fifth.
When did Mark Martin get in front of Earnhardt, Dave? Didn't he come out behind Earnhardt a moment ago?
No, he must have made a pass on him. Right. Maybe it's that caution was coming out or something is coming back to the line. Now, Rusty Wallace, another huge lead, as you mentioned, Bob. One thing that helps him to do that, he's the first car on the outside. The lap cars are down on the inside. He's quickly able to get out there, get down to the inside in the groove. Yep. The others have to pass the lap cars on the outside, as we mentioned earlier. That's the 1 to 2 seconds a lap.
And Earnhardt almost ran right in the back of Mark Martin. Oh, and Martin and Kyle Petty get together. Earnhardt pulls up on the outside, and here they come side by side.
This is the battle for fourth position. Kyle Petty is just ahead in third.
Earnhardt knows that's not the place to be, and he backs off and gets back behind Mark Martin.
It looks like Kyle's car faltered a couple of times in that lap, causing this jam up. But he's okay now.
Now they're pulling on the back of Brett Bodine again. This is looking from Brett Bodine's car back, and I think that's what happened a while ago. Kyle Petty was trying to get position on Brett Bodine and slowed a little bit, and here's Mark trying on the outside. Not able to make the pass.
We're watching all this action along with an Autolite Field summary. And now Earnhardt goes inside of Mark.
But he's going to run up on Brett Bodine, who has moved to the inside to get out of their way. Now Brett goes all the way out of the way. Wow, and Earnhardt splits them.
They went 3 abreast into one. You don't do that.
But that was a gutsy move on Earnhardt's part.
But, yeah, also, but Brett Bodine did a very good thing there. He hit the brakes, got down on the flat going into that corner so as to not mess those fellas up.
And meanwhile, as we watch all this, Rusty Wallace has a complete straightaway lead on second place, which right now is Davey Allison.
And Mark Martin takes over fourth from Kyle Petty. I think there's something wrong with Kyle's car.
Yeah, his car is just not right.
Yeah, it's gone away from it.
Because you can see that Earnhardt passed and is already pulled away by 15, 20 car lengths on this group.
And Morgan Shepherd and Rusty Wallace are closing in on Kyle, while Rusty, again, is just pulling away from everyone with about a half a straightaway advantage now on Davey.
I tell you what, if there isn't another caution flag, nobody's going to catch Rusty Wallace unless he has mechanical problems.
He is gone.
John Kernan, how about that 42 car?
Well, Bob, Kyle has been complaining about the last 100, 150 laps that the car is very, very loose. Now, they've made adjustments on pit stops. Nothing seems to help. So they're just going to have to ride it out. But right now, Kyle is fighting an ill-handling race car. It's very, very loose.
Yeah, he sure is. He's staying ahead of Shepherd and Darrell Waltrip.
It looks like Mark Martin's car is going away, Ned, because he just isn't able to close in like he did before.
No, and Kyle is moving back up on him. Once again, Earnhardt has pulled away from him since we saw that little 3-car battle there a moment ago. So, yes, his car does not look like it's...
And Morgan Shepherd gets sideways in turn 3 and loses 2 positions to Waltrip and Spencer.
Now, these guys have raced most of the day. All 3 of these fellas have been
6th, 7th, and 8th. Now Darrell has moved into 6th. Spencer is 7th, and Morgan Shepherd 8th.
Now let's go inside Mark Martin's car, actually on the roof, and see how this pass occurred.
There we see Earnhardt's on the inside. He gets on the inside of Kyle Petty. Brett Bodine, as Ned sees him, gets off the gas before he gets squeezed in there.
And Kyle had to back off out there also, because that was a smart thing for him to do. He's going to be in the wall if he doesn't back off.
That is called threading the needle. Joey Means is still out there. He's, let's see, 17th.
The Napa Auto Parts Ford.
This is one of the races at Daytona and here at Bristol. The Napa Auto Parts are sponsoring him.
Tell you what, Darrell Waltrip's getting a little racy because he's closing in on the back of Kyle Petty. That would be 5th place if he could pass him. And I tell you what, Darrell is praying for green flag the rest of the day, because
there's less
comes out, he's in trouble, because he has to wait till all these guys pit before he can go in.
There's less of a disadvantage pitting on the backstretch if you're pit under green, of course.
In fact, there's no disadvantage.
Yeah.
Pit stops are made under green. Of course, they should not have to make another pit stop now. But if the caution comes out, they probably will. Michael Waltrip changed right side tires on the Pennzoil Pontiac. He continues to have his problems here today.
And Jerry Punch has a report on Mark Martin.
Spoke with Steve Meal just a minute ago. Apparently the report is that they may have a fender rubbing a tire on the Valvoline Ford. That car certainly has some sheet metal damage, but that's why Mark has backed off for a few laps and cannot run the car real hard in the corners. They're concerned about possibly rubbing a tire on the car number 6.
Well, Jerry, I can see some damage to the right front. Outside the right front, I can see some damage to that, and maybe it is rubbing the tire. There we can see where it's right on where the front part meets the fender that we saw just a moment ago. That's pushed in against the tire.
Boy, he's got to be very concerned about that, too, because you blow a right front tire on this racetrack, depending on the part of the racetrack that you were on, it can hurt. There you see Derek Coates back out there running, but certainly at a reduced speed over what he was running earlier when he was running up there in the lead lap.
There we see Mark Martin, and there's Rusty Wallace, our leader, almost a half lap down now for Martin, and Kyle Petty's about to pass him.
Wallace in traffic, passing Sterling Marlin. There's the interval back to 3rd position.
Earnhardt might be gaining a little bit on Davey Allison. He still has good ways to go to catch him. But right now, there's nothing but daylight between them as Rusty goes on the outside of Ernie Irvin.
How about an on-track interval here, timing Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt? The interval shrunk between laps 415 and 419 from 1.7 seconds to 1.2 seconds. And Earnhardt was faster rather than Wallace slowing down.
Yeah, that's right. Earnhardt now, after a few laps, his car's starting to run well. Like Jarrett pointed out earlier, when the car's really tight, it hurts you the first few laps, but after you get a few laps on them, then your car becomes faster than some of your competition. And Mark Martin is going backwards.
Yep, sure is.
And Darrell Waltrip has passed him now. Kyle Petty passed him a few laps ago, as Benny pointed out. And here's Darrell Waltrip going by. So that moves Mark back to the 6th position.
Darrell goes to 5th and Mark back to 6th spot. And here is Jimmy Spencer also passing Mark Martin. So that car has completely gone away.
It sure has.
Well, running 1st and 2nd, Rusty Wallace and Davey Allison. Remember, in 1990, Rusty beat number 6 car. Rather, Davey beat the number 6 car by about 8 inches. This year, however, it looks like that Rusty Wallace has things in hand. We'll be right back.